Today we will be talking about water quality.
As consumers, it's important to know what you're buying. If you're paying for bottled water when you already pay for tap water, you should ensure that it's worth what you spend. Bottled water companies don't want to alarm their customers. Often, this means hiding anything they would find troubling. While consumers are led to believe that bottled water comes from natural sources like springs and mountains, often companies are just bottling tap water. While the EPA requires water utilities to publish water quality tests, the Food and Drug Administration does not require this of bottled water companies. Most bottled water will not answer 3 simple questions about their water. Where does it come from? Is it purified? And if so, is that water tested? And what, if any, contaminants have been found? Out of the 10 best-selling brands, only 1 provides the answers to all 3 questions. Out of 173 brands surveyed, Nestle Pure Life Purified Water is the only one that discloses this information on their label. Nestle also provides information to request a water quality testing report. All in all, 18% of bottled waters do not tell you where their water comes from, and 32% do not disclose anything about the treatment or purity of the water. 47% of the bottled water sold in the U.S. is tap water that's been purified, according to data from the Beverage Marketing Association.
As for tap water, Kansas City residents know exactly where it's from. 90% of Kansas City's water comes from the Missouri River, while the other 10% can be found in wells. The Kansas City Water Service serves more than 460,000 Kansas City residents and 33 wholesale customers in the greater Kansas City area. 112 million gallons of water were treated per day in 2012. In addition to these treatments, an average of 60 samples each day are collected and tested from the source, treatment plant, and distribution system. That's an average of 20,000 tests each year that make sure local residents are receiving the best water possible. Because of the constant testing, Kansas City is known for having some of the best tap water in the country. In both 2006 and 2008, Kansas City was recognized as having the #1 tap water quality among the 50 largest U.S. cities by Sustainably.
Not only are companies simply bottling tap water, some of the water isn't purified as well as Kansas City water either. In 2009, the Environmental Working Group found 38 low-level contaminants in bottled water. Out of the 10 brands they tested, each contained an average of 8 chemicals, including disinfection byproducts, caffeine, Tylenol, nitrate, industrial chemicals, arsenic, and bacteria.
Bottled water contains several chemicals, but tap water does also. While many may believe that these chemicals could be harmful, this is not always the case. Some chemicals that are added to Kansas City water are beneficial. Chemical levels in Kansas City tap water fell well below the national maximum allowed in tap water. One example is fluoride. It has been discovered that low amounts of fluoride in water help decrease the chances of tooth decay. Kansas City currently adds about 0.9 ppm of fluoride to their water, which is low compared to the national limit of 4 ppm. This small addition is just one of the many reasons for why Kansas City is known for its water.
Apart from bottled water itself being poorly purified, bottling water in plastic contains several health risks. The plastic often contains harmful chemicals such as cancer-causing PFOAs, flame retardant chemicals, reproductive toxins called phthalates, and BPA. These chemicals have been linked to reproductive problems, altered thyroid levels, and disruption of the endocrine system. These chemicals, though contained in the plastic, can easily leach into the water and contaminate it. Leaving the water bottle in a hot car or reusing it can magnify the exposure to these chemicals. The heat and stress to the bottle increase the amount of chemicals that leach out of the plastic.
While the water in Kansas City is good for human consumption, the city also does a good job of using its byproducts. Methane gas is released in the water cleaning process, but the city uses it to its benefit. This gas is used to heat the wastewater digesters, and it is also used to produce electricity during peak periods of operation.
Despite health risks, bottled water is an extremely harmful industry to the environment. Americans alone consume about 500,000 bottles of water every week. The bottle manufacturing process itself releases toxic compounds such as nickel, ethylene oxide, and benzene. Also, the amount of oil used to produce plastic water bottles could fuel 1 million cars annually. In addition to production, transportation of plastic water bottles is harmful as well. Only 28% of water bottles are currently recycled, according to the Association of Post-Consumer Plastic Recyclers. The rest of these bottles end up in landfills, where they leach toxins into the ground, and incinerators, where chemicals are released into the air, or in the oceans, where they slowly disintegrate into tiny particles. Many non-recycled bottles are shipped back across the ocean and dumped as waste in less affluent nations.
Kansas City Water not only reduces its environmental impact, it is also good for the local economy. Because Kansas City has such a large plant, they are able to sell their water to other neighboring towns. Platte City, Missouri, located north of KCI Airport, is one example. Instead of cleaning their own water, they buy it from Kansas City, generating revenue for the city. While Kansas City water quality is up to par, it does come at a high cost. In the past, the price of water has been under budgeted, making it affordable for consumers. Recently, though, the price of water has increased dramatically because of the need for infrastructure updates around the city. 2011 saw a record number of water main breaks, and these are extremely costly fixes, around $30 million. In May 2012, a 14% increase was implemented to water bills, causing water to become less affordable. While everyone is affected, the people hit the hardest are the low-income families on a budget. The money they could use for food, clothing, etc. is now being used in their monthly water bills. This is a problem that was bound to happen at some time, though. With inflation rates soaring, the price of water was bound to be affected at some point, too. It is safe to say that tap water is better than bottled water. Local cities are required to let its residents know what is in their water, and it is usually of higher quality.
Also, the plastic of bottled water is harmful to humans and the environment as a whole. Next time you think about cracking open a plastic bottle, think twice. It might just benefit you to fill a cup up in your sink instead.